What's up YouTube, Demi here with the Demi Splains on how to sustain any tier 16 map on your atlas while you're mapping alone or grinding with a group, whatever it might be. I'm trying to make this into a comprehensive guide for all of the things that I currently do to sustain. I'm pushing towards level 100 on Flying Purple People, my Slayer. I switched to Reblade Flurry, but that's besides the point. I'm running Elder Underground Seas. So the way you get your Elder Orb, to get an Elder map in the first place, is you have to complete all of the 1 through 15 memory fragments from Xana. You complete all of that, and after that there's a quest to kill Shaper. You kill Shaper, you get an Elder Orb, then you can Elder a map, any map on the atlas. I choose Elder Underground Sea because it is one of the best density maps. Density is how many mobs are actually in the map. So the more maps that you have, or the more mobs that you have in the map, the more map returns you get, the more currency you get, the more experience you get, right? And all those things are really important because that just means overall it's just one of the best options for sustaining and consistency, right? So, how do I sustain that? Well, I've done a couple things. Number one on the list is I've removed all other tier 16s on the atlas. It's kind of the same as shaping your atlas for any map. You're going to remove all other maps of that same tier. So I have no Guardian maps. What this means is I can't farm Guardians, I can't farm Shaper, I can't farm Uber Elder. I've given all of that up in order to get more XP, okay? This is my only tier 16. This is what I would normally do to roll maps, okay? So to actually get good maps, you start with the white map, you quality it up, you alch it, and they're going to look to chaos spam it for good pack size and item quantity. I've been looking for a minimum of 80% item quantity, along with some decent pack size. This can take a couple chaos, there you go, 85%, 25, that's not bad. It's not holy crap good, but it's not bad. You also look for things like bloodlines or beyond mobs to get you more overall experience and map returns. Bloodlines adds magic monsters to the map. Nemesis adds rare monsters to the map. Both of those can drop +1 tier maps, which will just give you another tier 16 in this case. 97% is pretty good, so we'll keep those. This one has bloodlines. It's not 80% quant, but it does have bloodlines, which means more magic mobs. So that's stage one. You got good maps. If you like these maps, you could also have the option to vol them. I don't usually do this, but you can. Voling them can give you an unidentified map, which gives you the same mods that are already currently on the map. So whatever it already had, it's the same as it was. It's just un-ID'd now. When a map is un-ID'd, you get an additional, I believe it's 20 or 30% quantity bonus for running it un-ID'd. And you can also get 8 mod maps, which are 4 suffix mod maps, and they have way more quantity, as you can see, and way more pack size because they have 8 mods instead of the normal 6. But you have the chance of getting a really bad map like Cannot Leech. So I can't run this map on my Slayer, but I can run it on my low life RF character, so that'll work, right? After that, the next layer is to use Sextants correctly. So on this map specifically, the one that I'm running, you have a white Sextant, 2 yellows, and a red that can touch it. So what I do is I use a white Sextant, and I'm looking for anything that says additional monsters. So this is additional monsters that heal, right? That's good. Yellow Sextant, doesn't matter yet. What I'm doing here is I'm kind of blocking because these two are both bad. I don't want either of those mods, but they're touching this one. So I'm using this concept of Sextant blocking. I cannot roll those mods already on this map. And these are red Sextants, so they're more expensive, so it's kind of nice to get 3 shitty ones and then use them to block your red one. Enraged. This one's actually not a bad one. 500% item quantity from the monsters that come out of the box. It's good if you want to run Monstrous Treasure or you want to run Bountiful Traps for extra strong boxes. You can do this. I don't like doing it that often, especially when I'm speed mapping, because it takes a long time to get that to happen. So I'll just roll past that. Invasion Boss, not good. Additional Breach. Breaches are good. Lots of extra mobs, as long as they're in a good place on the map, like in the middle somewhere, not on an edge in a corridor. Then you get a lot of extra mobs, and those can drop XP and maps, right? So that's fine. So now that we have a good map here, or a good mod here, we go back to our yellows and re-roll these until they give us additional mobs. Additional monsters that deal lightning damage, that'll work. That doesn't work, that doesn't work, that works. Additional rares on the rare maps, this is really good. If you have the Nemesis monsters drop 3 additional currency mods, that's insanely good since you're going to get a bunch of extra rares. You can also get mirrored rares, which is good. Ones to look out for that are also good that are just kind of awkward. Obviously, Nemesis monsters drop 3 additional rares, that's good. Hunted Traders is really good. It adds a bunch of mobs that they drop more currency and then fight the mobs that are already in the map. The Areas Are Alluring mod is really good for reasons that I won't go into, but it's just good. Look for it. Other than that, you're just going to look for stuff like this. Additional monsters that heal, additional monsters that convert when killed, additional lightning damage monsters, chaos damage, fire damage, cold damage, any of those. Do not do physical damage. additional physical damage monsters because those all have proximity shield, which is the most annoying fucking thing to map with unless you're playing like a couple builds. Like I think Essence Drain Contagion skips it, Scorching Ray, some degens, right? It's all very, don't run that one. It's basically trash. Okay, so that's that. That's one layer. We rolled the maps, we've sextanted, and now we go on to fragments. When you actually go to run a map, you put the map in, and if you add sacrifice fragments, 3 of them, up to 3 of them, you can use any combination as long as they're not the same. So you can use midnight, dusk, dawn, noon. Each one of these gives you 5% additional item quantity to the map, which just means there's more overall drops, right? And these are very cheap. They're usually like less than a chaos for a couple of them. They're very, very cheap. They're easy to get, especially if you're running Uberlab or just buying them from other players, whatever it might be. Uberlab just craps these out all the time. There's a ton of them, right? Use those. You get an additional 15% quant, which is the same as 3 chisels, so that's good. And then you'll run the map. If you want to add even additional stuff on top of that, you can actually proc Sextants, depending on what maps you have shaped and eldered. Plague of Rats only works indoor, so this would work for Elder Underground Sea, I believe. Hunter-Ring Swarm works in any area. It adds more mobs. This is extra rats, extra insects. And this one has to be outdoor, so it's extra frogs. This does not work in Elder Underground Sea, but these two do. You also have the option of doing something like Bountiful Traps, which I think I have one. This will add 6 additional strongboxes. Again, if you have that increased item quantity strongbox sextant, this is pretty good. Or if you want to go all out, you can proc Monstrous Treasure to get like 30 something strongboxes, but no mobs in the map. Those are both good options. And then after all of that, if this is working, like you should be sustaining fairly well. I started this process a couple weeks ago, and I started with about, I think, 70 or so maps. So I've been sustaining. I haven't bought any maps. I'm basically kind of evening out at about 40 to 45 maps steadily, and I've been doing this for like 8 hours a day, pushing towards 100, right? So I'm not fully gaining maps, but I'm also not doing this next step. If you're running out of tier 16 maps, what you can do is you can run your shaped T15s, right? Because you're not running connected maps, like if I ran Reef, for example, Reef would drop Lair of the Hydra and Elder Underground Sea. Because it's connected, it can still drop an uncompleted map, which is annoying. But if you run the shaped tier 15s, they're not connected to anything. They're not connected to any of the other tier 16s, right? So the only +1 map that you can drop is your Elder Underground Sea. So if you're struggling with this, and like you want to run the tier 15s, maybe you're running out of shaped ones, you can actually just take the other ones off of your Atlas, take off all of your other tier 15s. You can just remove all of these, right? And what that'll do is it'll shape your tier 15s as well. So you'll only be able to drop shaped whatever you have. I have Belfry, I have Bog, and I have Siege. Those are like my favorite layouts and densities. And that will remove all of these guys from the drop table for you. So you'll only be able to drop Bog, Belfry, and Siege, or whatever your shaped T15s are for your tier 15s. And for your tier 16s, you will only drop Elder Underground Seas, or whatever your Elder map is, right? And that should refill your map pool up to being able to hold out on this, right? And just run this forever. It takes a while, a lot of investment, a lot of currency, a lot of extra thought process, but I mean, it's definitely worth it. The way that I do it is I'll run those 3 maps with Sextants, and then I'll re-roll and maintain my Elder Blob, which is the next thing we need to talk about. So, Elder Blob, Elder Influence, it used to be called Elder Ring, whatever you want to call it now. Elder Influence and Shaper Influence on a map, they will add additional mobs to the map and also allow you to drop Shaper and Elder influenced items. Those can be a good source of extra currency as well as extra mobs for more map returns and all that stuff, right? Ideally, you want to maintain Elder influence. Shaper is less mobs and less beneficial. So what I did was when my Elder spawned, which takes a while, it depends what you're doing, right? He'll randomly spawn somewhere on the Atlas. You want him to spawn somewhere on this side, ideally. Mine actually spawned about right here, because I was running tier 16 Guardian maps, right? So he was going to spawn on one of these 4 corners. He spawned here, and I slowly worked the influence over here. To do that, you just like, if I wanted to push this blob over here, I would complete this map and then start uncompleting these maps so that the blob just slowly moves over there. I did that to get it over into the corner. The corner for Elder Underground Sea, I don't know where your Elder map's going to be, but for this map in particular, this is where it's the safest option because Shaper Influence can't spawn on this side. None of it can spawn over here. It can only spawn on these maps. So it's a lot easier to maintain, right? They have to be connected to be able to influence and attack each other. So this map is only linked here. it only attacks Elder Underground Sea. That's the map we're running anyway, so you'll run this map, it'll be Elder, the next one will be Shaper, the next one will be Elder, repeat, so on and so forth, right? Occasionally, after a couple of maps, you will need to maintain your Elder influence. So I'll go through and I'll cull, like this map, for example, I'll cull this map. I'll try to do it when there's no Sextants active on those maps. Right now this one has a Sextant, so I wouldn't run Atoll, but I could cull this, I could cull this, I could cull this, and it would still maintain my blob without using Sextants and without fucking up my influence, right? So ideally, not ideally, you need to make sure that you do not ever go above 20 maps possessed by Elder, otherwise Elder will spawn, and then you will lose your blob after 20 maps after that. He'll just despawn if you don't kill him, or if you kill him, it just disappears anyway. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I'm safe, right? I just have to keep an eye out after each set of maps to make sure that it's not like spreading too far out where he could potentially get 20 and spawn. But yeah, I think that's it. I usually don't do maintenance, I do maintenance like maybe every 6 to 9 to 12 maps. It depends on how many sets I get lucky without actually influence anything, or losing influence, right? Usually what happens is it'll take this map, and then they'll take it back, and then maybe they'll take Atoll and then lose Atoll. It just kind of repeats over here for a while. Because we're always running this and flip-flopping it, this always is basically influenced all the time. I think that's everything. If I missed anything, feel free to leave it in the comments section below. If you have any other strategies for like sustaining maps, T16s in particular, feel free. I've invested a ton into doing this and it's working. I'm not doing the tier 15 strat to maintain because I haven't run out yet. If I run out, I'll go back to doing that strategy. But yeah, if you guys enjoy this type of video, leave a like, leave a comment on what you want to see me explain next. I'm still waiting for Delve, getting worked on that starter builds video, or starting to work on that starter builds video. But I'm also streaming a lot over on Twitch, so if you want to join me on Twitch, my links to that are in the description below this video. If you want to support what I do, my Patreon, my merch store, Humble Bundle, if you want to buy games from them, all of that stuff is linked in the description below the video. I appreciate all of the support, and without that support, I can't keep doing this forever, so if you have something you want to assist, I would appreciate it greatly. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video, and that'll be Demi out.